You're listening to Super Chatterel with Langdon Westbrook. This episode of Super Chatterel is sponsored by Jeremy's Jars. Do you have things that could go in a jar but aren't in a jar? Well, Jeremy's Jars is the place for you. Do you have cereals and cornflakes and raisins just lying on the counter in your kitchen and falling on the floor all the time? Well, Jeremy's Jars has all the jars that you need to put those things in and stop them falling on the floor. I got my jar from Jeremy, the one I live in, because as you know, I'm a magical skull. I have to keep myself safe from magpies and goths with permanent markers, so I brought a big jar from Jeremy, and he very kindly put me in it. When I got home, I told my wife, Audrey, I said, "Do you need to put things in jars?" And she said, "What kind of jars? Like the ones with the little lever thingy on the front, and it keeps it closed, and you press it, and it pops up, and the top opens?" And I said, "I don't know, Audrey. Why don't you ask the vicar? You always seem to run to him with every little problem anyway. Why not add this to the list?" And she cried for a bit, which was hard to watch because she's a fish monster, so her tears are all slimy and weird. Anyway, jars. You need them. Jeremy has them. Jeremy's Jars, where you'll be saying, "Blimey, these jars are reasonably priced," even though I have no point of reference because who keeps the price of jars at the front of their mind? Welcome back to Super Chatterel, the supernatural chat show. I'm your host, Langdon Westbrook, broadcasting from my garden shed. We had some complaints about last week's show because apparently some of you don't consider a man who holds the world record for most safety pins attached to a scrotum to be a supernatural being. I disagree. Supernatural means something that cannot be explained by science. Well, I think that a man deciding to attach 243 safety pins to his scrotum cannot be explained by science. Therefore supernatural, therefore shut up. And not because we've run out of guests either. We have tons of people lined up to talk to. People are always phoning me and emailing me and saying, "Ooh, I'm a werewolf with a podcast. Can I come on your show and talk about it?" No, Carl, you can't, because nobody wants to talk about or listen to your stupid podcast because it's just you complaining about having to comb fleas out of your disgusting fur. You're listening to Super Chatterel with Langdon Westbrook. We have a very good guest this week, not a revolting monster, but a really great guy who I think you're all going to love. Please welcome Sam Rae, a supernatural investigator from the town of Little Hauntington, England. Hello, Langdon. Hello, Sam. Now, as a supernatural investigator, what is a normal day in your life? Well, I generally get up around 7, and I meant investigating supernatural stuff, not what you had for breakfast. Can't it be both? Oh, are you investigating vampire peanut butter, or do you have a haunted alarm clock? If you're just going to be rude, then I'm leaving. Okay, I'm sorry. Don't get upset. Go and tell me about your boring day. It's not boring, actually. It's very interesting. I get up and have breakfast and things, and then I usually get a call on my special work phone. Is it a red phone with a picture of a ghost on it? No, it's just a dubious mobile S400. It's not red. It's black. Okay, go on. And the phone call is usually someone saying, "Oh, there's a ghost in my garage. Come and check it out. Come and have a look at it with your camera," and things. So I go over there. I'm very interested, and when I say interested, I mean I'm obliged to keep this conversation going. I'm very interested in what equipment you use to capture ghosts on film. Well, for video, I have the dubious Video LX3 HD. Tell me about that. Does it capture high-definition video? It does compared to the LX3 SD. Come on, give me some numbers. What are we talking? 720p, 1080p, 4K? It can capture 240p at 12 frames a second. So worse than a phone from the mid-2000s then. Well, it does what I need it to do. Right. And for stills? For stills, I have the dubious Snapper Maniac 5000. Right. Not familiar with that one. Is that a good camera? Oh my, no. Why do you use such terrible equipment to capture something as important as the supernatural behavior of ghosts and ghouls? Because if you take a picture of a ghost with a decent camera, people are just going to say it's a fake because everything is so crisp and clear. Whereas with these babies, everything is so blurry and fuzzy, everything looks like a ghost. So you're a fraud. No, I'm just doing what people asked me to do. They said, come and take a picture of this ghost. And if I went there and just took good pictures of their living rooms, sans apparition, they'd be pretty disappointed, wouldn't they? So you use the worst possible camera equipment in order to produce the evidence people want that there's a ghost slamming cupboards instead of the wind. Well, this is the problem with the paranormal industries, you see. Almost every commercially available camera can take a decent HD picture these days, but what is the average quality of the last few ghost pictures you saw? Terrible. They look like the finger paintings of a mad child. Exactly. You can't take a picture of a ghost with a decent camera because unless it's as blurry as possible, no one's going to be able to make out the details of the ghost. It's like the opposite of what you would think you were trying to accomplish by taking a picture or shooting a video. Fair enough. Time for a break, I think. Hi everyone, it's me, Vickers. Listen, I got to be honest with you. My last few businesses didn't really work out. Duvet kerchiefs, we made duvet-sized handkerchiefs. Nobody wanted those. Pucciarazzi, a service where I take a picture of your dog in the style of a paparazzi photographer. Nobody wanted that either. People did not want a cute picture of their dogs trying to hide behind a hat or putting their paw over the camera lens. But now, I got something much better. Vickers Business Consultancy. Come to me with any business questions and I'll answer them. I hope you pay your taxes, or not pay them if you know what I mean. I hope you fire your employees. I'll do that one for free. Come on down, we don't have a phone because somebody stole all the cabling in the street, but just knock on the door. We're probably on lunch, but we'll be back in a couple of hours. You're listening to Super Chatterall with Langdon Westbrook. Welcome back to Super Chatterall. I'm here with paranormal investigator Sam Rae. Say hello, Sam.
Hello.
That's enough. This is my show and we're talking about all things supernatural. Now tell us about your spookiest ghost experience.
Well, I got a call saying there was a sighting of a headless spectre at a local cafe, and I should go and have a look for a couple of hours, and to take the bins out on the way.
Take the bins out?
Yeah, my clients often have little jobs for me to do around the house before I leave.
Okay.
Yeah, so I go to the cafe, and spooky thing is, they weren't sure who called me. Maybe it was the ghost.
You think the ghost called you to come and video him in a cafe?
Maybe. Who knows how the supernatural world works?
Not like that.
The spirit could only be seen on cold days and where the light was just right. But if everything was perfect, the figure of a man with no head could be seen at the back of the cafe, next to the specials board, pointing to the frittata, and the ghostly words, "Do you know how many calories there are in eggs?" could be heard. So I got my camera out of the carrier bag.
What's your technique for videoing a ghost then?
To get the best results, you need to hold the camera in your hand and you need to shake it like you're trying to get a wasp out of it. And point it everywhere except where the ghost is. And heavy breathing and saying, "Oh my God. Oh my God," over and over. It doesn't hurt either. And then during editing, you lower the resolution, crank up the saturation, and boom, you got yourself a lovely ghost video ready for YouTube.
And the people who call you...
Person.
What?
It's always the same person.
Do you know who it is?
Yeah, it's my girlfriend.
What?
Yeah, we used to argue all the time about me hanging around the house, but now I've got this hobby, everything's great.
Unbelievable. Another fucking time waster. That's all we have time for this week. We'll see you next week when our guest will be an actual Bigfoot, not like that last guy. See you then.